So the NFL is going to the Olympics. And while there are several Cowboys candidates that make plenty of sense, there is one overlooked option that might be the best. Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Mauricio Rodriguez here at A to Z Sports Dallas. We got some Olympic news this week in the NFL world, and that is that owners approved NFL players to participate in Los Angeles 2028 when flag football finally makes its debut at the Olympic level. But there are some constraints, and the most important one is that the NFL will allow only one player per club. If you ask me, that makes way too much sense because you got to give this team some protection of an exodus of players leaving the team in July just to go compete in the Olympics. And of course, all of the preparation that is going to go into actually preparing to play flag football, because it is not easy. It's not like a pickup game of street football. They will have to train for this stuff. Now, naturally, in a team with many stars, there are going to be some candidates, right? So the Cowboys are going to be under the microscope here because there are some pretty obvious players that could make sense for a USA flag football team. Actually, I would specify and say there are two that make plenty of sense. And then there's a third one that, in my opinion, many people will not even consider in the NFL world, but that actually makes way too much sense. I'll get to that in a moment. Let's kick it off with number one on the list, CeeDee Lamb. If I were putting together a flag football team that is a dream team from NFL players, I would be looking primarily at receivers. Now, not everyone across the football world will agree that CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 receiver in the game, but I personally would argue for it. Now, many people will also say, speed kills in flag football, but you also got to generate separation. And CeeDee has only improved and improved in his route running. He is going to be very young still when 2028 rolls around. He makes plenty of sense. Plus, I think he's this perfect slot weapon in that space. So give me CeeDee Lamb as the most obvious candidate within the Cowboys to be a part of the dream team. Now, at number 2, we're going to look at defense. And I got to say, Micah Parsons, obviously. There is a legitimate debate on who is the best pass rusher in the NFL. And that's because guys like Myles Garrett and others, they're very strong and maybe they're bigger than Micah. But I think none of them are as fast and as good accelerating off the line as Parsons is. He is an alien in that space. So I think Parsons as a rusher in flag football, where there's not an offensive lineman in between you and the quarterback, and all you got to do is be super quick and also mirror the quarterback so you can change directions and get to that flag. I don't think anyone makes as much sense as Micah. Plus, you got to factor in the platform that he has with the podcast, with his social media, with him potentially being a 200 million player by that time. Parsons makes way too much sense for me. I got to put him in as a top 3 Cowboys candidate. Now let's get to number 3, and not the most obvious player. And I would argue plenty of people in the NFL world would be shocked at this suggestion. But I'm actually going to say KaVontae Turpin. Listen, I want the speed in that receiver room if I'm putting together a dream team. I want the speed, but not only is Turpin one of the fastest men in the NFL, he's also versatile if you're thinking within the confines of flag football. I mean, you all saw KaVontae Turpin suit up for the Pro Bowl games in February and actually record sacks as a defender. Why? Because as a rusher with that kind of speed, you can get to the quarterback in flag football. You don't need to be big. You don't need to have great handwork to shed off offensive tackles or offensive guards. KaVontae Turpin just has to be fast in both sides of the ball. Now, keep in mind, these rosters are going to be 10 players deep, and that's it. KaVontae Turpin makes sense for the dream team that the NFL might put together come 2028. Is he the obvious choice? Heck no. Am I kind of buying into the idea that he might be the correct choice? I mean, he's not going to run routes better than CeeDee, but kind of, yeah, because he can play defense too. Let me know what you guys think. If you had to pick one Cowboys player from the roster, who would you send to the USA Dream Team in flag football in 2028?